Hello, my name is Ron van Erck. I work for the European Commission in Brussels. We're here at the World Ethanol Conference in Geneva, and I'd just like to say a few words about the current developments about biofuels in the European Union. We, as the European Union, have adopted legislation on the support of biofuels, as well as on requirements for sustainability of biofuels, which will be implemented over the course of this and next year. The European Commission is currently finalizing the last details of that legislation, but in principle there are three things that all biofuels that will be sold in the European Union need to comply with. First, there is a requirement for minimum greenhouse gas savings. Then there are requirements for what type of land can be used to grow biofuels on. So it cannot be land that has been converted after 2008 when that land had high carbon value or had high biodiversity status. And then there are some rules about how the information from the raw material until the end product has to be transported through the supply chain. As I said, we're currently finalizing the last details, but these rules will come into effect basically by the end of this year. One interesting point I would like to mention is that one way of proving compliance with these sustainability requirements is that economic operators can use voluntary sustainability schemes, certification schemes. An example of a Brazilian initiative is the Better Sugarcane Initiative, which is an example of such a voluntary scheme. When such a voluntary scheme is recognized by the European Commission as sufficiently covering these mandatory requirements, every company in Europe can use a certificate from that scheme to sell its biofuels in any of the 27 member states.
Just a question, how about the German ISCC? As you mentioned the BSI, would you like to comment the ISCC?
The ISCC is another example of a voluntary scheme which also can apply to us, and we will assess it and we can recognize it. In Germany, actually, the German government has already decided to accept ISCC as a means of proof. That does not mean yet that it's also okay to use that proof in any of the other 26 countries of the European Union. But once ISCC or any other scheme is approved by the European Commission, that is a free ticket basically to sell biofuels into any of these countries.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sure.